already 2 conference champions, but there can only be one. ESPN Northwest Florida is your exclusive radio home for the NCAA College Basketball Tournament.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida with your Wednesday's weather. The remainder of the day, there will be a gentle breeze out of the southwest, sunshine and 70. Mostly clear skies tonight, about the same at 62. Tomorrow, partly cloudy most of the day aside from a very slight chance of rain showers in the afternoon and a high of 69. A little warmer at 75 Friday, and we'll have some clouds. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Bendian's Best Moves is a local moving company in Panama City, providing reliable services to the families and businesses in our community. Coveted for the long list of services they provide, experts at what they do, and they do it all from start to finish. The pros at Bendian's Best Moves have moved doctors, attorneys, pastors, schools, small businesses, the federal government, and they can move you too. For the best moving experience, it's Bendian's Best Moves. Call now, 850-583-0814.
Your pets are our priority at Southern Hospitality.
Professional in-home pet care to meet the needs of you and your pet.
Vacation pet care, dog walking, adventure hikes, wedding pet attendant, and more.
Southern Hospitality experienced team provides a safe, nurturing, and stimulating environment your pet will thrive in.
You'll even receive reports with photos and real-time updates of each visit.
Talk to Southern Hospitality? Call us now, 850-805-7387.
Bonded and insured.
Are you looking for a place to take a leak? Do you have a truck, tractor, or other hydraulic equipment leaking or not performing as it should? At Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, we can get you back to work. Do you have a busted or leaking hose? We can typically replace them while you wait. Hydraulic cylinder or pump needing repair? In many cases, we can have it back to you the next day. Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, 6840 Highway 77 in Southport, just south of Tractor Supply. The best place in town to take a leak.
Your home for Auburn Tiger basketball. WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe, ESPN Northwest Florida. Get ready.
Deep center field and heading for the horizon.
Sports Talk Radio will never be the same.
Onion pickles, onions, pickles.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Way back and gone.
On ESPN.
Northwest Florida.
Welcome in to the Doghouse. We are live and local. We are the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes along with Caveman Rick and our good friend Banji Bamadella on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Man, the weather is just so amazing out there right now. Caveman Rick, how you doing today?
Feeling great, man. Can't blame you. The weather's good, man. It's not too hot, not too cold. Traffic's building up, though. I noticed that on the way in today.
Oh, absolutely.
So we got a lot of people out there. I'm a local, so I'm going to stay away from that kind of stuff, stay away from the beach.
Townies, us townies for the most part, we stay on one side of the bridge.
Yeah, us townies. Yeah.
Us townies, yeah. Banji, you picked a side your time being here?
Oh, yeah.
There you go. But sometimes work takes you out over across the bridge, and maybe Top Golf will take us out there a time or two, but probably more or less for me anyways, in the slow season. I think that's when I'll be hitting up Top Golf at that point in time.
Yeah,
otherwise,
with some free tickets to Top Golf, we'll hit that place up, man. Hit some balls. There
I'll go during the busy season for some free tickets.
There you go.
But yeah, great to have Banji in the building with us. We had some big games going on locally last night. We'll run over those scores real quick. We'll focus and concentrate on the local just a little bit more here in the next segment, because Banji, if you don't know, is the local sports reporter for the Panama City News Herald. In JUCO baseball, it was Gulf Coast taking down Northwest Florida 14-6. They are off to a very hot start and getting ready for just getting underway here over the last week or so into conference play. In high school softball, a game that we are going to lead off the 420 segment with, North Bay Haven, who has been at the top of Banji's power rankings throughout the year, beat the other undefeated team in this county, the number 2 team, Arnold, 8-1. And we were talking about this a little bit on the Inside Drive, and my first question to Ryan was Bree Clark on the mound? We'll find out at 420 what Banji saw from North Bay Haven and Arnold. Bay takes down Wakulla Christian 18-7. South Walton over Walton 11-4. Chipley shutting out Graceville 15-0. Rutherford by 10 over Rocky Bayou Christian 15-5. Bluntstown falls to Port St. Joe 12-6, and Bozeman blanks Mosley 10-0. Will that shuffle the power rankings from Banji? Find out more at 420. In baseball, Mariana and North Bay Haven had some fireworks going on, but Mariana ekes out a win over North Bay Haven 12-11. Holmes County over Port St. Joe 10-0. Jay beating Arnold 3-2, and the slide is on for the Arnold Marlins. Maybe they need a pep talk from the soccer team. Chipley over Bluntstown 2-1. Walton over Northview 3-2. Tonight, Pensacola is hosting the Gulf Coast State College Commodores at 5 p.m. That'll be first pitch time. Softball is at the house taking on Chipola. They will get underway at 6 p.m. And then women's basketball, they've punched their ticket. They are in the FCSAA Division I Women's Basketball Championship. Tonight is the quarterfinal over there in Niceville. They're going to be taking on Eastern Florida State College. Tip will be at 8 p.m. And college basketball has been nothing short of wild to this point. I love this is when I really start diving into college basketball. A little too late, yes, because I'm not as up to date on a lot of things, but it is fun nonetheless. We are live from the Bendian's Best Move Studios. You can give Quentin a call at 850-583-0814. Don't forget to get over to ESPNPC.com and click on the Big Bracket Challenge. We're going to have Selection Sunday lined up for you this Sunday at 5 p.m. Then it'll be time to fill out your brackets. You can still join the group now. Just go into ESPNPC.com and click on the Big Bracket Challenge. But fill out your brackets after this Sunday. And for more fun, invite your friends and your coworkers to join the madness along with you. We're going to have cash and prizes for the top 3 brackets. That is brought to you by Panama City Toyota, PCB Hobby, and by Buffalo Rock Pepsi. NFL free agency, college basketball, the NBA has been going wild as well. Defense is starting to be played at a much higher level right now as we start playing for the seeding for the NBA playoff. Who play in tournament seeds 7 through 10, or in the Indiana Pacers last night, Tyrese Halliburton. I'm a Pacers guy, so this was huge for me. But, the late comeback last night for the Pacers, and then they're down by 3. Tyrese Halliburton floating over there on the top of your TV screen, if you will, and a little fade away to the side and shooting it over Giannis, getting fouled by Giannis, nothing but net, then goes after the review, goes to the line and gets it done. What'd you think of the Pacers win last night, Banji?
I don't pay attention to the Pacers, David. I don't. But, as a person who's a Giannis fan, it did make me cry a little bit because I was like, Halliburton, 4-point play to win the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's y'all are gonna be what, 4th seed, 5th seed?
4th or 5th seed, I think is pretty comfortable right now.
Typical Pacers thing, like at max you're gonna make the second round. So
well, where were they last year, Banji? Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, okay. But
it was an easier route, and it's always an easier route in the East compared to the West. And that's one thing. What have you seen from the West to this point? Now that we've had the shuffling of the stars, the injuries too. We talked about it last week, I believe, or the week prior of just how good of a basketball player, how underrated of a basketball player Kyrie Irving is, and then he goes down. I don't think that he had the injury this time last week. Wasn't it like Thursday, I believe, that he ended up being injured?
I'm not too sure, but I think we were all kind of on the outs of Dallas and that team because so many injuries now.
Yeah, and now it's just impossible.
They'll be lucky if they make the play-in tournament. But yeah, the West, it's looking very familiar. Like, it could be Houston, it could be Memphis, it could be Minnesota is always they're always in contention, I believe. Yeah. So and not even speaking of the Nuggets or even, the Thunder who are leading that conference, but, never rule out the Lakers either, though.
You can't rule out the Lakers. LeBron's going to be out. Do you believe that that's a true groin injury? Like, he's actually dealing with a groin injury, or maybe needed to let the heat kind of cool down a little bit since the confrontation with Stephen A. Smith? Lord. I guess he's had different takes or different tones to the whole situation, one on First Take and then one on his podcast.
And you see how quickly, when you F around and find out, when you play with somebody over the TV, you think, oh, it's a ha. When they see you in person.
Yeah.
It makes me think Stephen A is like a Twitter troll.
Right.
Where he thinks he could say anything and there's no consequences. And then when somebody finally comes up to him, he's like, as a father. And I was just like, oh, now you want to pull the father card. It's like, you can't walk back because, like, I've stopped watching First Take for a little bit now because once they got rid of Max, I was like, yeah, I'm not watching this. But just seeing Stephen A, like, backtrack and try to, be all, tiptoeing around it, I was just like, you're in the wrong. He treated you like, I can't say the words on here, but he treated you like you were nothing, basically, which, I mean, in the grand scheme of everything, LeBron James is 10 times
what Stephen A. Smith, and we don't even got to take the money into account of it, but just the notoriety.
Exactly.
And LeBron James, now if basketball's not a thing, then but then other sports aren't a thing, and so Stephen A. Smith, like, we're all out here like, what are we gonna do? You would still have a job. I would still hopefully be calling games for Mosley, baby. But without these guys doing what it is, that's one thing that I get that, especially radio, where it's more, it's not just fact, it's opinion and all of that stuff, but it's like, and if you have any prominence, like, one day you're going to be in the same room with these guys.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? When I was thinking about that, I was thinking there's a reason why Skip Bayless hasn't had any altercation with anybody, because he probably don't leave his house.
Yeah.
Because he knows if he sat courtside, oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
What he would hear.
Oh, the amount of players, because he's probably bad-mouthed every single player in the NBA at some point. So I was just thinking, like, if Skip Bayless is on the sideline of anything, I don't even think LeBron would give him the time of day, though, because it's like, it's one of those where it's like, Skip does it for he does it for the views, he does it for the attention. But yeah, Stephen A, maybe just chill out on the Bronny top. Just chill out on the LeBron top. I guess you have to talk about him for the views and ratings.
Well, you got to talk about LeBron, but and again, I haven't really, for me, it was one of those things, why is this even going on? Mm-hmm. And basically, it's Stephen A. Smith saying Bronny James isn't as good of a basketball player as what LeBron was saying. So it's not like Stephen A. Smith was in the wrong. I think the biggest thing is walking it back whenever you have the opportunity to kind of drive it home, because at the end of the day, anyone who's playing sports professionally or not, you open yourself up to criticism.
Oh, yeah. Like, even me as the local sports reporter, I have people all the time come up to me and be like, I didn't like what you said about our team, but I'm just like, when I have that conversation with them about, like, this is what I see, this is my opinion, and they're like, oh, okay, I can respect that, the fact that you at least stuck with it. Like, that's why I can respect if somebody stuck with it. But it's ridiculous. As a media person, as a person who's part of the media, you have to, like, tote the fine line of, are you giving the facts, are you putting your opinion, or are you just, going out of your way to badmouth somebody or insult somebody?
And it's bad whenever the opinion matters more than the fact does. I think that's one of my biggest problems with sports radio in general, sports analysts, is when it matters more what you think than, what the numbers are. Because that's one thing I'll always say about our show, and anyone who, I will speak for everyone who, opens their mouth on these microphones on the Afternoon Underdogs, none of us know any more than, the next person. If you're sitting there listening right now, you know just as much as I do. Maybe I will study or watch a little bit more, maybe my passion is a little bit higher, but at the end of the day, if you take the time to do the things, I can't sit here and say, well, this team will win because I've watched X amount of minutes of them. Like, it just doesn't work like
but
that.
any dope can, read stats off a box score, and the whole reason why these people are on is because they're giving their opinions, they're giving their takes, they're giving their thoughts. And if that was the case, you just need one or two people, and that's all you would need, and that's, that would be it.
Right. And what I was getting at, I'm not saying that people shouldn't give their opinions, because that's entirely what this show is based on. What I'm saying is that when opinions matter more than what the facts do, so that's it
depends. Like we were having the conversation about LeBron. This might be a phantom injury because of him wanting to load manage, not wanting to play, rest up for the playoffs and such. Some people have said, was a Max yesterday, kind of happens every year around this kind of time.
Well, I wouldn't say every year, because
it lends itself to the criticism. How does a stereotype become a stereotype? There's usually some facts there. There's usually a basis there, and that's why people come out and say those kinds of things.
I will again, but the point I guess I was trying to make is that if opinion overrides fact, using fact to come up with opinion is a little bit different than, I don't care if it says that the Indiana Pacers are and this is not a fact, but just using it as a fact. The Indiana Pacers are leading the NBA in scoring, and I say, well, they're not the best scoring team in the league.
Well, you'd be the best team in the league record-wise, but it doesn't mean you can win the championship either.
Right. No, that's 100%. But at the end of the day, it's kind of using the facts to build the opinion.
Support it.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of college basketball going on, but NFL free agency, Banji, is alive and well. We were just talking about the Dallas Cowboys and how everyone, at this point, you're kind of laughing at them. Unless you're a Cowboys fan, then you're crying at them because they have not done anything. But they did just make a trade with the Tennessee Titans involving Kenneth Murray. I don't want to do that. I just want to see the notification. It looks like
7th round pick. From Tennessee for a 6th round pick.
There you go. So that's their second trade of the day. What was their first one today? I don't even remember. It must have been that small of a deal.
It's the Dallas Cowboys, yo. Yeah. What's it make a difference? It's not going to matter, man.
What is the most underrated move in free agency, in your opinion?
I have two. Because one I already thought about, but another one I just saw on the bottom of the screen. The one I just saw on the bottom of the screen, Evan Ingram to Denver Broncos.
Oh, great. Yeah. That's a great acquisition for the Broncos because that's Bo Nix's bread and butter, the short passing game. So Evan Ingram could really thrive there, as he did year one with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah. And then the one I was thinking about was just the Browns. Myles Garrett is a winner because of that contract that he signed.
Yeah.
How much is it a year? $40 million?
$40 million, yeah.
He's making quarterback money as an edge rusher. Like that to me, there's no bigger victory than that, in my opinion. You could say Josh Allen with his QB contract, but
that's a big contract too. $250 million in that guarantee.
When you're looking at teams, where they spend money normally, like quarterback, and what
edge rusher
input positions you need. Edge rusher is probably next. Is a big position. So it's probably number 2, number 3 on a lot of people's boards.
Depending on what they have there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they just spent another bag on Joey Bosa. I don't know if you call that a bag. $10 million a year, I believe.
That's still underrated. I think that was one of the underrated things because I think he's going to help them out a bunch, man.
His numbers have declined year after year since 2021, so I don't know about that. Like, to me, he's going to be equally as impactful as Von Miller was, in my opinion.
Yeah.
For the Bills.
Well, but that's, and they released Von Miller, so that's kind of what you're trying to replace right there.
Yeah. If that's what you want, yes.
Yeah, we'll have to see about it.
A lot of times a change of scenery helps out guys, rejuvenates them, reinvigorates them.
But is that the right? I guess with Bosa, he played at Ohio State, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So with used to kind of cold weather. It's been a while since he's been playing over there in sunny Los Angeles. So maybe that change of scenery does kind of help him get back into football mode, and you're going
got a better
into
quarterback. I mean, he's not on the offensive side, but
I don't know what.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have another underrated move there, Cade Memrick?
I think we talked about it yesterday. I think Zach Bond, man, was pretty good by the Eagles resigning him.
Of course, he would say an Eagles.
But I mean, for real though, I mean, when you think about that, guy led the league in tackles, this past season. We didn't let him go; we kept him. So yeah, I think it's a big deal, especially with all the people leaving on the defensive side that the Eagles have had so far. So yeah,
I think. Underrated. I'll stick with the one that I said yesterday. Najee Harris going to the Chargers. I really like that move, especially being in the offense under Harbaugh and how they like to run the ball. I'm not sure if they still have J.K. Dobbins.
I don't think they're going to be able to resign him.
So that'll change things up a little bit. But if Najee's able to stay healthy, I think that he fits in. And being from Southern California, I think that he fits in to not just the offense, but like the epitome of the city, if you will. He's a lively character, which Pittsburgh, they're not as lively. They're kind of more just steadfast, if you will. So I like that signing. I like that signing a lot. I think that's a little underrated, but Derrick Henry and Saquon really helped him get that amount of money, because it wasn't just a couple of years ago that he's probably getting 5.5 or 6 instead of 9.5. So I like that move a lot.
I like Debo to the Commanders.
Is that one underrated though?
I think it is, because if they get back the Debo that we knew, then that for a 5th round pick,
and then you bring in Laramie Tunsil. You add the protection for Jaden Daniels.
Commanders did good.
I think they just, it's so funny how get rid of Dan Snyder and
everything goes great.
Right.
Sophomore slump maybe next year for Daniels. We have to wait and see.
Could be.
Because it's going to be hard to duplicate what he just did this past season.
But how often do we see Heisman Trophy winners come into the league and not formulate?
Yeah, but I'm like, look at C.J. Stroud, a great, first season last year. Everything tapered back though, but I think still a step back from the season prior. There wasn't expectations that season. You know what I'm saying? You're playing a little bit more with house money. You can play a little bit more free. Now you have expectations. I mean, you were arguably an MVP towards the end of that season. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's going to be looking at you to do the same thing you did last year. So it's put up or shut up time.
It is put up or shut up time. No, it's not. It's not put up or shut up time, because it's Eagles. It's the Eagles division still, right? I think it's fair to look at it like that. What direction did the Giants, or so far
drafting wise? I think that's what's going to have to help.
Right. They did add to the defense, so there's that aspect of it. The Cowboys haven't done anything, so they're kind of staying stagnant.
Ran their mouths a little bit, or a lot,
And they've made 2 trades today. But, so the Commanders are making the right moves. And with the lack of expectations, I don't think that there was any – I don't feel like the window was truly open. Normally when you're getting to the NFC Championship, it's because the window has begun to open or has been open. Exactly. So that's why I think that the Commanders, they can afford a sophomore slump. Same way the Texans are, right? The Texans, even if C.J. Stroud, and he did have, statistically speaking, somewhat of a sophomore slump, had to go through a slew of injuries with his wide receiving core in a very weak division that is winnable again this year. So I don't worry about the Texans. I don't worry about the Texans. I dang sure I ain't worried about the Commanders right now. Now, I think where the worry could set in is there were so many close games last year for the Commanders that could have went either way, but they proved over and over and over that they were capable of winning those games, and they were in close games with really good teams. Whenever it came time to them playing an inferior team, or at the time, first 4 weeks of the season, you would have thought a team right on par, on the same level as the Commanders, but they blew them out. There wasn't. I'm trying to think of any games that the Commanders were highly favored in and didn't do what they were supposed to do. And then you go back to the Hail Mary, which is bad on the Chicago Bears, but at the end of the day, that's one of those things that spurts your team through to the next level, if you will. So I don't think the window's closed for the Commanders.
I didn't say it's closed, but I think
that's right. You didn't say that. Sophomore slump could be absolutely.
Even if he does have a sophomore slump, I still think what does that look like? Like they're going to be like 8-8 or something like that. But like, no, I think that he has all the pieces around him to be successful. And even if he does have a sophomore slump, I still think they make the playoffs because the NFC it's probably going to be a whole new landscape next year.
Yeah.
Honestly. Yeah. So.
It is going to be wild to see really how all of this plays out because the Titans are looking more and more like they're going to be drafting Cam Ward at the top of the draft after getting Dan Moore from the Steelers. I don't know, man.
You want to talk about some losers? The Seahawks. They have Sam Darnold, yes, but you have no Metcalf, no Lockett. So now
who'd they pick up today? They picked up was it Valdez Scantling?
Yeah.
MVS and JSN.
There
got
you
a
go.
bunch of letters.
Who's another like three-letter acronym that we could throw over there too?
OBJ.
OBJ. We were just talking about that because the Ravens.
Yeah.
They signed DeAndre Hopkins. What do you think of that signing for the Baltimore Ravens?
The wide receiver retirement home. Everybody who they had the greatest of seasons, they go over there to not get the ball.
Yeah.
And you never hear about them ever again. Des Bryant, Deshaun Jackson, Odell.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of like Al Galore, Jeremy Maclin. If we want to go even further back, it's like there's just so much dead wood that go like you literally become dead wood over there. It's sad, but I mean, hopefully, even D-Hop, besides like his first 2 games with KC.
Yeah, and I think it was kind of the same over there with Tennessee. Now, granted, he didn't have a good quarterback slinging him the rock. Yeah. Well, wait, what are you saying?
What do you mean? What am I saying?
Oh, the Titans don't.
Titans, yeah.
I thought you were saying Lamar Jackson. I was like, come on now. Lamar's he gets better and better every single year.
I would never done.
But yeah, DeAndre Hopkins. The other thing, too, is you're getting these older wide receivers for a primarily run offense. Mm-hmm. And so it's not like they're getting a whole lot of repetition on field, in game repetition. So I think that's something to monitor as well. We'll have to see. You brought up Isaiah Likely. We don't know. I didn't look up to see if he's a free agent or not. So and they still got to sign Derrick Henry. But that is, if I can't even call him second favorite team and like feel right about it, but I do silently root, sometimes make a little noise even for the Baltimore Ravens, but it's all because of Derrick Henry. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. Coming up next, we're going to dive into the result from Arnold yesterday between the North Bay Haven Buccaneers and the Arnold Marlins softball team. Keep it locked into ESPN Northwest Florida.
The ESPN Northwest Florida Big Bracket Challenge.
Three-pointer, punch it in.
We're taking March Madness to the next level. Join our bracket challenge at ESPNPC.com to compete with the ESPN Northwest Florida listeners and staff. The top 3 brackets win cash and prizes. Join the madness at ESPNPC.com. The ESPN Northwest Florida Big Bracket Challenge is sponsored by PCB Hobby, Pepsi, and Panama City Toyota.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida with your Wednesday's weather. The remainder of the day, there will be a gentle breeze out of the southwest, sunshine and 70. Mostly clear skies tonight, about the same at 62. Tomorrow, partly cloudy most of the day aside from a very slight chance of rain showers in the afternoon and a high of 69. A little warmer at 75 Friday, and we'll have some clouds. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Take your next adventure in an award-winning Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Discover the new Kia. We invite you to stop by Bill Bird Kia and test drive the new 2025 Kia. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. The 2025 Kia SUV family has movement that inspires. Drive away today in a new 2025 Kia Soul, Seltos, Sportage, Sorrento, or Telluride. Fuel the thrill and command the road in the luxury of a 2025 Kia K5 sedan from Bill Bird Kia. Performance, power, and design built for you. Spark inspiration in the all-electric 2025 EV9. It's a modern masterpiece, fast charging, rugged, and roomy. Bill Bird Kia is the original home for the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by 2435 East 15th Street, Panama City, or anytime at BillBirdKia.PanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust. Your local community dealer is Bill Bird Kia.
ESPN Northwest Florida is live inside the Bendian's Best Move Studios. Often imitated, never duplicated. The official sports station of the Panhandle. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
We're live and local. It's the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes along with Caveman Rick and Banji Bombadella, who is our local sports reporter here for the Panama City News Herald. The Big 12 tournament is alive and well right now. Iowa State has already taken out Cincinnati. That made sense. It was a 20-point win, 76-56. And then for the second day in a row, Colorado has crushed me. They beat West Virginia 67-60. They were 3-17 in Big 12 play throughout the regular season and have dismantled another team to move on to the next round. We'll talk more college basketball here in the next segment, but there's a reason we bring Banji in with us on Wednesdays. And that's to talk local sports, even though he's, as you could tell, he is well-versed in all sports, and we love that about him as well. Arnold North Bay Haven, last night at Arnold. Mm-hmm. Tell us just break it down for us, man. Give us the recap of the Bucks and the Marlins.
So going into the game, both teams were undefeated. North Bay Haven 6-0 and Arnold 7-0. And Max Preps, they do their rankings Tuesdays and Thursdays. They had North Bay Haven, the number 6 team in the state of Florida, and Arnold there at number 24. So it's a top 25 showdown. What we also have is, the pitching battle between the two best pitchers in the county. Arnold's Bree Clark, we already know, 800 career strikeouts. She 7-0 already in the circle. And then you have Addison Mallon for North Bay Haven. Same kind of deal, averages double-digit strikeouts per game. But then you also think about it's also a batting competition with Layla Kern, who had 4 straight games of home runs, leads the county with 4, and Kaylee Goodpaster for North Bay Haven, the Florida State commit, 3 home runs. It was just collision course of just the best of the county, the best really of the Panhandle to offer. So, but the Lady Buccaneers, something that I talked with Coach Butch Bernard about yesterday was just about that batting order, that first 4 batters, they seem to just rattle Bree Clark early.
Yeah.
Like, Kaylee Goodpaster hits an RBI double. Her first pitch thrown at, she just whacks it. It hits the back wall, but it looked like it could have a little bit of wind and it would have been over. But she gets the RBI double. North Bay Haven goes up early, 1-0. And, we're looking at Arnold's, trying to see if they're getting any connection, any hit, and they don't. Addison Mallon is striking them out. She gets a quick early 3 strikeouts in the second inning. And then North Bay Haven, the batters, alive and well. They get to Clark again, and now they're leading 3-0 in the third inning. And now you're just thinking, is Arnold going to be able to come back here? Or are we going to see Bree Clark get comfortable and, start throwing those strikeouts? And, ultimately she did, but every other inning, North Bay Haven scored. So I'll just skip ahead to the 7th inning. It's already 6-1. Arnold scored in the bottom of the 6th, so already 6-1. And then I would think a pitcher's worst nightmare. It's the top of the 7th. Kaylee Goodpaster comes up. You've already walked her the previous inning because you're just like, I don't want no parts. But this time they don't. Home run.
Oh, 2-run shot.
2-run shot.
Man, so Kaylee Goodpaster showing herself to Florida State, and then also to the arch rivals, the arch nemesis of the Arnold Marlins. And that was our big question on the Inside Drive was, well, did Bree Clark pitch? And
she pitched the whole game.
Yeah, and that's wild to see, an 8-1 score when we're talking about the county strikeout leader, and then on her way to 1,000. And everyone, this is a game of failure. Oh yeah, baseball and so. It doesn't negate anything that Arnold's done to this point. Their only loss on the season is to an undefeated North Bay Haven Buccaneers team. But wow, I mean, just the small school, and there's always that chip on their shoulder. North Bay Haven knows when they go play the other schools that they're a smaller school. They're a different school than what the public schools are.
And I'm just thinking about Addison Mallon. She was, she started, she was a starting pitcher for them last season as an 8th grader. She's now, a freshman. And I could just, I talked to about it with her last night about how did you lock in mentally? Because, you're facing a senior who she's been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
county all-time strikeout leader. Like, and she was just like, you know, I've been thinking about it, just getting my mind mentally correct hours before the game. And I was just like, because like they knew it was going to be a battle. They just know, like, that's the team that we have to be. Like, last year in the Bay County Championship, Arnold versus North Bay Haven, it was tied going into extra innings, and then North Bay Haven exploded, and they won by 6. But it just shows you that what Coach Butch Bernard has over there, I think they're destined for a very deep playoff run. I mean, to already be top 10 in the state already, they're probably going to move up after this win. But yeah, it was an incredible atmosphere yesterday, and I just knew when Goodpaster had that final at bat, I was like, yeah, she's going to hit a bomb here, and she did.
Wow, man, heck of a player. Obviously, Bree Clark, heck of a player, and then Mallion. Right?
Mallon. Addison Mallon, yep. We're going to be saying her name for the next 3 years, yep.
And that's kind of the beauty of North Bay Haven is the fact that they can, you know, get them into their system. Coach Bush can get them into their system, you know, a little earlier than they can at other places. And man, you know this better than I do. The more cohesion and the more chemistry that you build together, the better that you are as a team, especially when you really do bond as a family. And that's what it seems to be like over there for Coach Bernard and the North Bay Haven Buccaneers. So great atmosphere last night.
Packed. Like, it was some of the fans in the stands were just like, we've never seen this many cameras around at the game. Like, I feel like everybody was a photographer last night. They had the big old lenses. It was probably like 10.
Yeah. Tyler's like, whoa, guys.
I got this, right? And it's just like, you also see the news guys also. So I'm just like, I feel like everyone in the Panhandle's watching this one. It must be streaming somewhere. But yeah, it was a great atmosphere, and something about going over there it's just always windy.
Yeah,
it's always windy at those games. But yeah, it was a great game.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And hey, congratulations to North Bay Haven. Do they play again in the regular season, or will the next time that they play possibly be the Bay County Championship?
They do play, I believe, April 11th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
so there's time for get back, and that'll be over at North Bay Haven the next time?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. Wow. Great stuff there, Banji. Thanks for going out to the game and doing all that you do here for our local sports. Banji is the local sports reporter for the Panama City News Herald. What about some local signings? Have we had any more signings for college football or any sport for that matter?
Yes, we did. Over there at New Horizon Academy, Elijah Peace, a senior over there, he plays football for Rutherford High School. He signed to continue his athletic and academic career with Lighthouse Christian College. And Peace was a guy who, defensive lineman, part of that Rutherford team, that he ended up finishing the season with 20 tackles and 2 sacks. So he's going to Lighthouse Christian along with teammate Roman Holmes, who was a running back for Rutherford, and also Bozeman football players Emmanuel Spurlock, Jaden Spurlock, and Caleb Williams.
Oh, so Caleb Williams, he's leaving the Bears to go to Lighthouse Christian College. No, that's really cool, though, that it's almost, you know, Georgia Bulldogs to the Philadelphia Eagles, you know, analogy, if you will. Yeah. That's really cool. So what's that, 5 or 6 guys all going to Lighthouse, all from the same area, and they probably grew up for a large part playing football together as well, which it doesn't get any more beautiful than that. Well, it's time to dive into the softball power rankings then, Banji, and then we'll look at some games to look forward to. But let's start with 6 and work our way up to, I think we know who's going to be number 1, but we'll save that for Banji.
Yeah, so at number 6, I have Rutherford. They're 3-3 right now. They have actually a 2-game win streak against Wakulla and Rocky Bayou Christian, but lopsided losses to Mosley and Rickards twice has me. I put them at number 6. Bay is 3-2. They also had some lopsided losses to Alpha and Mosley, but they picked up a win against Wakulla Christian on Tuesday, so I have them at number 5. And then Mosley, they're 3-5, but they beat both Bay and Rutherford, so I feel like it's only right. Yeah. I put them above them. And then I have Bozeman at 3. Their only losses, I believe, the only loss that I saw was against Arnold, but they also have another loss on the season. But they're currently on a 2-game winning streak against Mosley and Choctaw, so I feel like it's only right to put them right there above Mosley. And then Arnold, number 2, faltered against the toughest competition yet, and they took their first thump against North Bay Haven. The rematch is April 11th, and number 1, North Bay Haven, undefeated, number 6 team in the state of Florida, has the best pitcher at the moment in Addison Mallon in terms of in form, and then the best batters in Goodpaster, Bailey Gladden, Ali Brady, and Mackenzie Goff.
There you go. 850-215-6290. If you guys have any thoughts or questions for Banji, give us a holler and we'll get you guys on the air with us. What are some games that we can look forward to here for softball this week?
For softball games this week, so Thursday, Rutherford hosts Walton. Also on Thursday, Mosley is at Chipley and Bozeman at Choctaw. Then on Friday, we have Bay at Rutherford. So, you want to see a rivalry game, go see Bay at Rutherford on Friday. And then Arnold hosts Holmes County on Friday as well. Arnold trying to get that get back after taking that first loss. And then Saturday, we have Bay hosts Malone. And then also on Saturday, North Bay Haven goes to Dothan High to face Spanish Fort Toros. The Toros are 13-1 on the year.
Oh, wow. So they could add another loss to that column or maybe suffer their first loss.
Exactly.
We'll have to see. Now, they've got spring break starting next week?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so do their tournament games, they got to count against their
they
regular
count. Yeah,
good.
For sure.
Good, man. Well, that's gonna hopefully they're in tournaments with stiff competition, because there's some, especially when you're undefeated and you're just kind of rolling over the competition, then you get into the state tournament and things get a lot tougher from that point on. How about our power rankings for baseball, Banji?
Baseball, I have Rutherford at 6. They're 3-8. They're on a 2-game losing streak, including a recent loss to Osceola Christian 7-0. And then at number 5, I have North Bay Haven. They're 4-6. They're also on a 2-game losing streak with that recent loss that you talked about to Mariana, 12-11 in 8 innings. And then at 4, I have Mosley. They've had it rough because they're 4-7 right now, but they're on a 5-game losing streak. But let me tell you the teams that they've lost to: Niceville twice, Bozeman.
And Niceville's pretty good this year.
Niceville's pretty good.
Bozeman, I've heard of them before.
South Walton.
Yeah.
And Lincoln. So I was just like, you know what? It only seems fair to put them at 4 because that gauntlet right there.
Yeah.
If you were able to escape with 1 win, I might put you top, because that right there, those are some of the best teams in the Panhandle. And then at number 3, I have Bay. Bay at 8-4. They're on a 3-game win. They had a 3-game win streak. It got snapped by Bozeman yesterday. Wins against Rutherford, North Bay Haven aid them, but then losses to Mosley and Arnold make me keep them at number 3 because you would think at number 2 I have Arnold, who are 7-5, free falling right now. They started last season 16-0. They're now 7-5. They've only won 2 of the last 6 games. Which,
and the competition hasn't been. I don't know about Jay.
Jay won the Class 1A state championship last year.
Okay.
They beat Bozeman but Jay's now in the rural classification. The game was 3-2.
Yeah.
Arnold was winning 2-1 all the way until the final inning.
Oh, so it's a walk-off for Jay.
Yeah.
Oh. It's tough, and those are the lessons learned right there along the way. Doesn't matter the size of the school, especially in a sport like baseball and basketball. The size of the school, like when you get down to the classification of it, you can make things happen. Especially when we talked about North Bay Haven, you're gelling together, you're building that chemistry. Especially guys up the middle, you got good pitching.
Especially a team that just won a state championship. They know what it takes.
Right, absolutely. But it does stink to see Arnold sliding a little bit here. So that leaves us to your number one team.
Bozeman. They're 11-1. They've already scored 100 runs already on this season. And since losing to South Walton February 19th, Bucks are on an 8-game win streak and swept season series with Bay across 2 games, 21-0.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they like you mentioned, they had the big win against Bay last night, and Bay, Coach Hudson's got them playing some pretty good ball right now. Coach Patton has got Bozeman playing really good ball. How much do you think that loss to South Walton, knowing that it was almost maybe not David versus Goliath, but LeBron versus let's not go LeBron there. I was specifically going to go off of size, like LeBron versus Steph Curry or so, like 6'6", or what's LeBron's 6'8", ain't he?
6'9", yeah.
6'9", and Steph's what, 6'3"?
6'3".
A very small looking 6'3", just because of the rest of the way that the rest of the NBA looks, but still a big fella in his own right. So how much do you think that loss to South Walton really has spurned Bozeman on?
It's one of those things where well, I also want to give South Walton credit. If you look at South Walton's schedule, they've like swept the entire Panhandle. Like no Panhandle team is better than South Walton at this moment. But yeah, Bozeman, it's one of those things where, you know, they're not in the same classification. So it's one of those games where you put on the schedule just to see how good your team is early. Mm-hmm. And I think that was a great like smack to the face to be like, okay, we know what we need to do to be elite. And they've been elite ever since.
All right, well, we'll move on here to our games to look forward to. You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Banji Bomadella in the building with us. He is your local sports reporter for the Panama City News Herald. Give us some games to look forward to in baseball.
So tonight, actually, Bozeman's at Wakulla, and then also tonight, Rutherford hosts Franklin County. Then on Thursday, Bozeman hosts Bluntstown, and then also on Thursday, Arnold hosts Marist. Marist is a team in Atlanta at the Northwest Florida State College.
Oh, so they're going to go an hour and some change away to play the game. I guess, does that help Marist at all?
But that Arnold's going an hour away?
Well, not necessarily. Does it help them in their travel time, I guess, is what I'm getting at.
It might. I think it might.
Okay.
That's actually a good question. It might.
But I don't know
how much. It's still
if you're Arnold, why not just host them at the house? Why do we have so many games away from
It's because it's the tournament, right?
So that's okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, I got you. That makes 100% sense right there. Yeah.
A central location just for all the games.
Yeah. But and that's always cool to be playing on a collegiate. I don't care what level of college it is. To be playing at a collegiate stadium is really cool. I mean, I got the alternative baseball open, which is there. You know what I'm talking about with the alternative.
I played at the game.
That's right. We talked about this.
Yeah.
Like for me. I used to go to summer camps over there at Gulf Coast State College as a kid for baseball camps, and to like actually, even if that's not a real baseball game or whatever, that was a really
great
cool.
That was my first time ever swinging a bat.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, you saw how many times I scored?
Yeah. We talked about that. Man, that's great stuff. Banji's Baller of the Week.
Baller of the Week, Kaylee Goodpaster, man.
Gotta give it to her.
She batted 100, really. She had a single, had a RBI double, had a home run, and they walked her. I was like, man, if she would have got a triple, I was like, if I saw the cycle, against that competition, you're the GOAT, honestly, But yeah, she's my Baller of the Week.
Hey, there you go, man. Y'all are making some names for yourselves when it comes to all counties, so make sure you keep on balling, and you might find your name on the list of Banji's Baller of the Week. We got to find some way to commemorate this. You know, like each Baller of the Week, maybe I'll cut the clip and put it onto Facebook or something.
Baller of the Year.
Oh, well, right before summer, right after the final, we'll do a Banji's Baller of the Year.
Maybe get like a chain or something, I don't know, or something just to like give somebody, I feel like, or like a certificate, I don't know, something.
A ball.
What about like an ankle bracelet? It's like the opposite. I was thinking, well,
He's
chain,
talking about like,
bracelet,
like keeping you in the house, paying house arrest.
No.
Yeah, I was like, what, like an ankle monitor?
Yeah, we got to keep track of you until next year. Make sure that all of your vitals are doing well. I mean, a ball could work, I guess. A ball of their specified
like baller,
sport.
Banji's Baller of the Week, man.
Yeah.
Banjo.
Okay, Rick.
Banji's Banjo of the Year.
We will have to. We'll have to figure that out, though. But I really do. I like the Banji's Baller of the Week, but a Baller of the Year, and actually give them something. Maybe we'll figure out a way to give them like some gift cards or something that for the week, and then once they get to Baller of the Year, it's like now you get some fake. I was gonna say fake plastic, but you get plastic jewelry to commemorate your Baller of the Year status. Great stuff there. All right, Banji. When we get back, we're gonna be diving into his picks for some of the conference tournaments that are going around, and maybe some of his other thoughts on March Madness as we get closer. Go to ESPNPC.com and click on the Big Bracket Challenge and join our group. We'll be right back. This is the Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida.
The ESPN Northwest Florida Big Bracket Challenge.
March Madness is incoming, and for the most bracket-busting fun, we've got you covered. This Sunday, find out who is going to the big dance. Selection Sunday coverage starts at 5. Then, fill out your bracket by going to ESPNPC.com and clicking Big Bracket Challenge. Free to play, and you can win cash and prizes from your home for March Madness.
It's ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida with your Wednesday's weather. The remainder of the day, there will be a gentle breeze out of the southwest, sunshine and 70. Mostly clear skies tonight, about the same at 62. Tomorrow, partly cloudy most of the day aside from a very slight chance of rain showers in the afternoon and a high of 69. A little warmer at 75 Friday, and we'll have some clouds. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Get your shine on at Tommy's Express Car Wash. Now with a special offer for new members only. Purchase our best wash, The Works, at Tommy's Express and get your first month of unlimited washing with the Tommy Club free. The Works includes our best: red hot cleanser, tire shine, and ceramic body wax to protect your paint job and seal and shine. Hurry in today. This is a limited time offer. Tommy's Express, Highway 77 and 23rd Street, next to Starbucks.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards in Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
ESPN Northwest Florida is live inside the Bendian's Best Move Studios. He stuck his head in the microwave and chanted Hot Pocket. Hot Pocket! Caveman Rick is part of the Afternoon Underdogs.
Hope you're drunk or heading home to a trailer.
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
Back in the doghouse, riding with the Afternoon Underdogs, David Hayes, Banji Bombadella, Caveman Rick. We'll have Morgan Hilliard join us here in the next segment. Don't forget to go over there to ESPNPC.com and click on the Big Bracket Challenge. We're going to have all of the games right here on ESPN Northwest Florida for you. We're up to 28 people. The goal is to get over 120. We were at 103 last year, and
better hurry up, people.
Staff's just got to do better this year, because last year I think all of us were in the bottom 50 or so of the group. So hopefully we do a little bit better. But at the end of the day, we've got cash and prizes on the line for you guys, first, second, and third. Go to ESPNPC.com, click on the Big Bracket Challenge. Banjo, you a guy that does one bracket, or do you do multiple brackets?
I try to make it so I have 4, so that I can do different Final Four teams each time. It's method to my madness. I never win. But
Have you ever picked the champion?
No.
I've only done it one time, and with my actual bracket, that was Virginia, the year after they lost to UMBC.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah. It's been a while. It's been a long time.
How many brackets do you do?
I do one that counts. That's the only one. No, I'm serious though. I'll do one that, all right, this is my bracket. These are my actual thoughts. This is from, and I feel like I shouldn't even research, because the more that I research these teams, the more that I'm like, oh, well, that didn't even go. Like Colorado and what they're doing in the Big 12 right now. It's like, did Shadur start, come over there and balling for you guys? Is Coach Prime at the helm now? But I'll do one, and then, that's the only one that I'll take credit for. Like last year I had one where I had like 3 of the Final Four teams.
Oh, wow.
It was in the 99.4 percentile or whatever. Very, very high, but it's like, okay,
You still didn't win, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't count anything for me. The only way that I would take credit for it, if it was a perfect bracket, and then I'm not even taking credit for it, I'm just taking credit for the hopefully there's the perfect bracket challenge. Yeah. I would hit that and, be the first person to ever do that.
The perfect bracket, you wouldn't even have to, because if you can prove that, you would be on every, talk show, radio show, Tonight Show.
I'm on a radio show every day.
You would be like,
I just got quoted in the Washington Post, actually.
Really? You'd be an instant celebrity, you know what I mean? Like, for at least your 15 minutes, you know what I'm saying? Like,
True.
Instead of Lynn Sanity, it'd be Hayes Sanity or something like that for a little while.
Instead of Hawk Tua, it'd be...
I'm trying to think of something that rhymes right now, and none of the words that are coming to my head are radio safe, so we'll stay away. But yeah, I'll fill out as many as it takes. Or not, you can only do 25 on ESPN. That's really the only one that I use. So I'll do, like I'll do flip a coin for each team.
Okay.
I will always have one where if Alabama's in the tournament, I will always have one where Alabama wins.
Well, that one just isn't going to happen.
No, 100% agree. That's why I got to have my main bracket. That way I can feel like, all right, you know how it is when you're a fan, right? And you know that you have this split, especially with you being a journalist and what you do, which I guess it's different with high school level, but still your mind is journalistic all the time, right? Mm-hmm. And so with that, you have your favorite teams, but when you're watching your favorite teams, you have the fan side of you, and then you have your job side of you, and you're going with your mind on that, and so that's how I watch all sports. So when I'm sitting there, and as bad as I want to, the fan, it's like how they talk about having like the angel and the demon on the shoulder. It's like fan and mind over here, like playing tug of war. Like you want to pick Bama, but they're not gonna win. Like even last year, for them to get as far as they did, each game after I think they were playing Clemson in the Sweet 16. Each game after that was like, okay, like we're not going to win now. We're not going to win now, and they found a way, I should say, last year to get that done. But yeah, so I'll do flipping a coin. I'll do I don't want to say this other one, but I did it last year for the first time. Like I'll do like a God bracket. Like, so basically what I mean by that is I'll have the teams and I'll be like, all right, God, which one? Like, and he's not actually saying anything. It's not, I'm just like, well, there you go. And it's kind of facetious, but like to me, it's kind of like, all right, I know that it's not reality. Not saying that God's not reality. I'm not saying that by any stretch of the imagination. Just, it's something that I did for the first time last year. Yeah. I'll do other teams that I think are going to win, that I think are capable of winning. Like I would probably find a bracket this year where Houston, Florida, Auburn can find ways to win. Houston?
It never. I've picked Houston so many years, and it never happens. I think it's one of those where whatever your mind tells you second. So you might initially think Houston, right? Whatever your mind thinks second, that's probably who's going to win. Because honestly, it's never going to be the traditional person you think. Because it's going to be, and you never can predict the Cinderellas either.
Right.
So then that Cinderella is going to take out who you traditionally think, and now you're just like, well, I don't know what to do now.
But I think this year is a good year for Houston because they finally bring shooting into the equation. They can finally shoot from beyond the arc, and you got to have that. You got to have good 3-point shooting.
Teams, though.
No, 100% agree with you. I agree with you. I think UConn is a team that could find their way to winning.
You got to have exactly though, right? See, like UConn. Imagine UConn three-piece. Like but no, like there's.
But no one's thinking that right now.
Yeah, so then have one of your brackets UConn win.
Well, exactly. No, that's what I'm saying. We'll have the dark horses and stuff like Alabama. But I do enjoy that. When it comes to the conference tournaments, who are you looking at for the Big Ten? I'm going off the wall with the Big Ten. It's basically exactly what you just mentioned. I think favorites are even less likely to win the whole thing when it comes to conference tournaments. I'm going with Wisconsin.
Okay, I've actually seen a lot of Michigan State games, but
that's another team I'll find a way to win.
Ohio State. I like Ohio State.
And they need it right now.
Yeah, I watched that game when they beat Kentucky. I think they can do it.
I think if you're a team that's already pretty much has your ticket punched, you don't have to win your conference tournament. You're in. You kind of don't play full force because you kind of want to rest up. You want to make sure you're going to be good for the actual real tournament, not the conference tournament.
Yeah.
So sometimes they take their foot off the gas.
You still care about seeding, though.
Yeah, you care about seeding, and I don't think that the coaches want the players to take their foot off the gas, but I think that it's this mentality of we're already through, but I think what matters more so is it's actually the other teams who have more to prove.
They need it more. UNC, North Carolina right now needs it.
Yeah. It's like when you're like
whooping Notre Dame,
close to the playoff time in hockey or baseball, where teams are playing like playoff style games 3-4 weeks before the playoffs actually happen because they need to get into the actual playoffs or to actually make a run and stuff. So.
Yeah. But Michigan State is a team when it comes tournament time. Tom Izzo always has a great run, so I'll probably, find it might be a bracket with Sparty going all the way. What about for the ACC? I mean, it seems to be quite chalky over there.
Do I want to say Duke? Do I have to say
Duke? But you could just say the Royal Blue team. Yeah, you could say Cooper Flag.
A North Carolina team is going to win the ACC. Okay,
all right, I like that. Duke versus North Carolina. I don't know if the bracket sets up for that.
Probably again. Yeah.
All right, so for the third time, Duke will beat the brakes off of North Carolina. Big 12, fun tournament. Who do you have winning the Big 12?
Ooh.
Colorado. Okay, all right. I like it.
You know what? I'm gonna go with Iowa State.
Oh, okay. They had a big win today against Cincinnati. Cincinnati took care of business against Oklahoma State yesterday. I think Iowa State is a great pick for the Big 12. I'm trying to think on who
Houston.
because again the favorite aspect of it. Okay. So I didn't end up going with
Texas
Houston.
Tech, BYU, Arizona.
I think it was BYU. I think BYU's a dark horse for me, man. I don't think about winning the whole thing, but just one of those bracket busters where you're not expecting BYU to do anything, and they've shown a tendency this year to beat big teams. So I think I said BYU, and then finally we'll wrap it up with the SEC. LSU, Jeff, I know you're on the line. We'll bring you on to start hour number 2 with us, if that's okay.
There's so many quality teams, though. That's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah. Oh, I said this yesterday. It's such a volatile conference. I mean, like, I don't know who it was that said it, but basically every game in the SEC this year has been like a Sweet 16 game. You saw Arkansas up 47-30 on top of South Carolina today. South Carolina outscored Arkansas like crazy in the second half and pushed them to the brink. I believe it ended up being a 4-point win for them, but that's the SEC for you this year. So of all the favorites, I mean, Auburn, Alabama, Florida, Tennessee, it's like, I could pick any one of those, but I think it's going to be someone from outside of that. So I said Texas A&M and Kentucky, and I'm gonna have Kentucky winning it. Okay. And I hate to say that. I'm getting heartburn thinking about that, but
your face looks like you hate it too.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I remember seeing like a graphic where like each of the top SEC teams have like beat each other in like a carousel.
Yeah.
They're all like. I'm never going to say Alabama, no offense.
That's okay. You just said it.
I'm going to go Florida. I'm going to go Florida.
I think Florida, Tennessee could end up being I believe that they're on opposite ends of the
Tennessee's in the West, probably. I think.
Well, no, there's no divisions. There's no division like that. But you have your top portion of the bracket, your bottom portion of the bracket,
NCAA.
and well, even college football now in the SEC, we don't have divisions. West, Tennessee's always been in the East, but and that's one of those things that's kind of hard to get used to as an SEC fan because you have your two teams that you would play in the East, and if you were a West team, you play everyone in the West, and you play one team revolving in the East, and then you had your rival there. But things have changed. Banji, as always, man, so much fun to have you on with us. And we'll be talking a whole lot more March Madness because next week, this time next week, that'll be our last show, our last live show of the week because we'll be playing all of March Madness right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. So thanks again for stopping by. Always great to have you in the building with us and keep up the great work.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll kick hour number 2 off with LSU Jeff, and we'll have Morgan Hilliard in the building with us.
The ESPN Northwest Florida Big Bracket Challenge.
March Madness is incoming, and for the most bracket-busting fun, we've got you covered. This Sunday, find out who is going to the big dance. Selection Sunday coverage starts at 5. Then, fill out your bracket by going to ESPNPC.com and clicking Big Bracket Challenge. Free to play, and you can win cash and prizes from your home for March Madness.
It's ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida with your Wednesday's weather. Tonight there will be a light breeze out of the south, partly cloudy skies and 62. Mostly clouds tomorrow morning, about the same at 68. In the afternoon and evening, a mixture of light showers and mostly clouds and a moderate breeze right around 13 miles per hour with a high of 70. About the same at 72 Friday, and we'll have some clouds. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Bestway Portable Buildings has been your portable building specialist since 1989. Before you invest your hard-earned money someplace else, owner invites you to stop by Bestway and get a quote on just about any size building. And whether you buy with Bestway or not, it's worth the trip just to meet Bestway Buddy. Say hello, buddy. Good boy. Bestway Portable Buildings, just north of Harts Marine on 231, and online at bestwayportablebuildings.com. The best in portable buildings. Tell them Buddy sent ya.
WPLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lynn Haven. Powered by Panama Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Every love story deserves a perfect beginning. At Tracy's Fine Jewelry, we believe that your engagement ring should be as unique as your love. Explore our vast selection of certified natural and lab-created diamonds, each hand-picked for brilliance and beauty. Whether you desire the timeless allure of one of our hand-selected engagement rings, or you'd like to custom design the perfect ring, visit us today and let our experts guide you in finding the ring of her dreams, because love deserves the best. Tracy's Fine Jewelry, where love sparkles.
Live and local from the Pindians Best Move Studios. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs.
But I wonder how much time he really kind of put into the playbook.
Where it's halftime all the time.
He may be the cream of this crop of quarterbacks.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Well, they got to do something here, but otherwise this is just going to be another lost season.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
You're back in the doghouse with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes along with Morgan Hilliard and Caveman Rick. And as always on Wednesdays, Morgan is wearing pink this afternoon. Texas A&M, they don't play till tomorrow, do they, in college basketball?
Yes, we play tomorrow in college basketball, and it'll be the winner of the Texas-Vanderbilt game.
Oh, which is not on here right now because I changed the channel. But does look like Texas possibly going to be moving on. A lot of people had Vanderbilt going all the way to Saturday, which would be the semifinals for the SEC. And you can listen to that right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Coverage starting at 11:45 a.m. and we'll get to the tip at 12 p.m. LSU, Jeff, you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. What do you have for us this afternoon?
Well, I was going to talk about, the bracket and how you kind of pick your teams and all that.
Yeah, just
I never picked my team. My team. I never pick LSU to win.
Well, I don't do that. I've never picked in my main bracket. My real thoughts. I don't think I've ever had Alabama go unless maybe I was like 12 or 13.
I always do the bracket I submit to everyone else, and then my own bracket, which obviously has A&M winning the whole thing, but that's in my head.
So when is LSU? It's not too long ago.
LSU's never won.
Yeah, they've never won, but I'm saying that y'all had some chances when y'all had Will Wade, right, to maybe not win the whole thing, but maybe in your mind make a path for LSU to get there.
No, it wasn't. No. It wasn't with him as coach. It was I can't remember who the coach was before that. We had Big Baby.
Glenn Davis. Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That was the last Final Four, and then before that, it was 2 times in the '80s.
Yeah, how'd y'all do with Shaq years? Because you were going to school there when Shaq was there, right?
Yeah, I was there, and we lost in the second round, and we lost in the first round. We met we didn't know who Jason Kidd was.
Yeah.
Give us a pass. We met him in the tournament, and he took us out. And, it's just one of those things that Dale Brown was the coach, and he could coach with no talent, but when you gave him talent, he would lose.
That's like, I guess that's really good coaching, except for when you got really good talent and you're losing. That's not great.
I really want to keep this guy. Now we're going to throw every game.
So there's actually 2 coaches before Will Wade. It was John Brady, who replaced Dale Brown, because Trent Johnson was there from 2009 to 2012, and then Johnny Jones 3 coaches before Will Wade. Johnny Jones was there for 2012, 2017, and then Will Wade 2017 to 2022. And now you guys got Mac McMahon over there. So who do you think ends up winning the SEC tournament?
Florida. And the coach James Hale show is still saying, everybody picked Florida on the morning show, and I'm going to have to go with Florida too, because, I saw before Auburn lost these last 2 games, that their bench was weak, and I didn't believe in them. And then the way that all these games went down this last week and a half, it just looks like Florida, they're peaking at the right time.
Also, one of those losses was to was to my boys.
Yeah, Texas A&M on they went Tuesday or Wednesday before their final game of the regular season. I think that Florida's a good pick. I think Tennessee's a good pick. I mean, I think that there's a chance Auburn does Auburn keep their foot on the gas? And like you said, Tim Adams also said this. They've kind of slowed down throughout the latter half of the regular season. Alabama, I don't think that Alabama wins the SEC championship. Their defense is just not good enough for a 3-game run. Texas A&M is a team that could surprise people. I've got them going to the final against Kentucky, but it's not like I put a whole lot of thought into that because with the SEC, it's like roll some dice and just whichever way it goes. What outside of the SEC, Jeff? What conference are you looking at to have the most explosive conference tournament?
Well, I mean, how in the world are there 3 ACC teams that are ranked? Just 3 ACC teams. I've never seen the SEC be like it is right now, and then the ACC get disrespected. I just don't see it. I just don't see why they disrespect that whole conference. I mean, look at the history. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's wild to see kind of how that conference is playing out. I think for me it's the Big 12 because there's so many different ways that conference could go as well. And, Houston obviously being one of the top 4 seeds more than likely, and they're the number 1 seed in the Big 12. But a team who's really grinding my gears right now for the 3rd or 4th time, I'll say it, Colorado, man. I don't know why they're still in this daggone tournament, but they keep on setting them up and knocking them down. Who do you think is the class of the Big 10?
Shoot. Well, everybody talks about Tom Izzo. He can do something with nothing, It's Michigan State.
Michigan State. LSU, Jeff, anything else besides criticizing my conference or my ways of making brackets?
Well, I mean, everybody's got their own way, but, I mean, I always look at the past and be like, this coach has done this much in the past. And, like, we talk about St. John's, I mean, you work off of the past, what that school's done or what that coach has done.
Yeah.
And you kind of work off there. And going against that reasoning, though, I like Houston. And it's weird because I've picked Houston to go to, like, Final Eights before, and they choke, it seems like, before they even get there.
Not true.
And
they beat us out last year to go to the 8.
Yeah, and they just, I don't know. I want to, it's not that I want them to win. It's just that I think that they're going to do it, and then they don't do it, and then I'm like, when do you give up on a school, And I really like Houston, especially like their bench scoring and everything. And that's probably, I mean, it's not just Auburn that I give up because of bench scoring. But, I mean, sometimes stars carry a team. But I want to say that Houston's got all the things to get to the Final Four, but then I look at the history, and I'm like, well, they disappointed me before. Should I go against my logic? I don't know.
That's the battle of the heart and the mind, man. I have that battle all the time. Yeah, and that's, again, why I just have one that counts, and then all the other ones are just, whatever for various reasons, but they still don't count. For me, at least, maybe ESPN's counting them for their percentiles and whatnot. But and another thing that I do outside of just looking at the history is look at, common opponents and all of that stuff. And I feel like the more that you research this stuff, the more likely you are to get it wrong. And that's the best part of March Madness, and why really, if you have no idea, even if you're just picking based on the uniforms alone, you have a better shot at finishing higher in the bracket than what I do, or in the group.
That's literally how I pick. I pick based on uniforms. I'm not even joking. And sometimes I pick based on the mascot.
Oh, the mascot.
Sometimes I pick based on the mascot, but you're right. You cannot use logic, because anytime you use logic of they for sure win this game, you're always wrong.
Yeah, it stinks, and I'm just not used to that, kind of situation. But here we are. I've been doing this since I was 11, 12 years old, at least picking March Madness brackets. So, I don't get it. I don't really get it, but I think Houston's got a better chance than what they've had in the past, so I wouldn't break up with them quite yet, Jeff.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Break up with them. That's like a romance.
All right, Jeff, we'll let you go, my friend. Thanks so much for the call.
Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.
All right. Morgan, how's your day been going this afternoon?
It's been a day. It has been a day.
You ain't lying.
Anybody home?
Yeah, I'm home. Just got a lot going on. Been really busy. I got to go color Monday with Ken McVeigh over at Gulf Coast, so that was a lot of fun.
You got to go color?
Like coloring books?
Color commentary.
Oh, you did the color.
I thought you meant with crayons.
No, I did color.
For what sport?
For softball.
Nice.
Yeah.
How was that? Did you play softball in high school?
I did not, actually. I was a cheerleader and a weightlifter.
Hey, there you go.
Obviously, we knew that.
Yeah.
We had to know that. But
Cheerleader and weightlifter. I see that combination all the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
It makes you a better base. I was a flyer, and then I was a base, and being a weightlifter makes you real good at being a base. But anyway, it's not the point. I did color commentary with Ken Monday. We did a doubleheader. I had a great time, so that was a lot of fun.
Oh, was that against Rock Valley?
Yes.
So 2 losses.
Yeah, it was 2 losses.
Yeah, but I mean,
Baseball
close games
won, though.
Yeah, baseball won. Yep. I believe they won last night against Northwest Florida State, and then playing tonight at 6 p.m. Gulf Coast softball is. Baseball is on the road to Pensacola.
They're playing Chipola today.
Yeah.
Yes, they're playing Chipola today. So hopefully those ladies, secure a win and kind of throw off what happened Monday.
How's the team looking?
There was a lot of errors, things obviously that can be cleaned up in practice and downtime and things like that. Things that can be cleaned up. Some of it was situational. Some of it you can't help, like every team, but mostly just the errors. But I thought the girls look good. They have some great hitters and they have a lot of grit, They have a lot of grit. One of their pitchers, I cannot remember her name at the moment, but she took a line drive straight to the knee and then stayed in for a few more batters before they took her out. So lots of grit out there.
That I know for firsthand how that feels, especially the knee. Is the knee, the shin. I mean, really, there's nowhere that you could be like, that's a good spot. I guess the butt. The butt is the best place to get hit.
She tried to block it. She had her glove out there, but you're trying and you're anticipating. Your hand's already moving and her hand's already in front of it by the time the ball's actually making contact. So sometimes you can't avoid those.
Is there a recording of your commentary?
I tried to find it on Gulf Coast Athletics. I can't find it at the moment.
Have you asked Ken?
Because I did. Supposedly they're supposed to upload it to Facebook within the next few days with the stream of the game with the commentary. Good, if I find it, I'll shoot it over to you. We all
want to hear that. You've been keeping up with any of the NFL free agency at all?
A little bit. Did you see that my boy Myles Garrett signed a huge contract? I'm kind of upset about that though, because he was like, I want to win a Super Bowl. I want to be a part of a winningest program. All the stuff he had said in I'm going to enter the trade. I want to enter a trade. And then to come back and sign this crazy deal for $160 million?
Yeah.
That's insane. Sorry, I had it written down here. That's insane. Obviously he's getting the money and everything else, but I want to see good things happen to him just because Aggie bias. And then also, you're the number 1
defensive end.
Yeah, thank you. You're the number 1 multiple years in a row. You've done so much. You have all of these stats. And then to just stay where it seems like you're moving forward, but everyone around you, Browns specifically, are standing stagnant.
Yeah. And the worst part about it is, what we talk about on here all the time. Yeah, you could hold out. But Jimmy Haslam said he wasn't trading him. So at that point, it's, all right, do I hold out and try to find a trade partner, or do I just get the bag and suffer through 4 more years? But more than likely, he'll revisit this next year and then try to get a trade next year, and who knows what'll end up happening. So that's one thing for sure about this money game, is you got to get it while it's hot.
And even the Eagles had released a statement that they were going to make him an offer he absolutely couldn't refuse. Maybe the offer was something he could refuse. Did they even get a chance to make that offer? I would have loved to see a Myles Garrett with Cooper DeJean and a couple of other boys who are over there, and it's painful. It's painful to see. Like I've said before, I really like watching the NFL as an enjoyer, not team related, but just as an overall enjoyer.
That's because you're a Dallas fan.
Yeah, I know. And we know what that's directly related to. There's no need to yell on this mic, Rick.
I wasn't yelling. I was just, talking my normal tone.
No, it means I took it personal.
I know.
It means I took it personal. But anyways, it's painful. It's very painful. Also, did you see that Xavier Worthy was arrested over the weekend?
Yeah, but they dropped those charges.
Did they end up dropping them? I didn't see where they dropped them. I was going to say it looked like it was false allegations.
The family members probably getting paid.
So apparently there's also something out about Le'Veon Bell.
I didn't see that.
Ring-a-ding-ding.
I don't want to talk about that one unless I find out that
If it's for sure.
Yeah, because that one's rather nasty.
Yeah, that's
you
very
can talk
fair.
about it and just say allegedly.
Allegedly. No,
And then you're okay.
That's
Yeah,
very,
but I scrolled and saw it on Twitter and did not, I did not even try to verify any of that. So I'm not just going to be like, you know what I saw, and then what allegedly happened is not good at all. With Xavier Worthy, though, apparently he had tried to, I don't know if his wife or fiance.
So it was his fiance. He caught her cheating. He asked her to leave, and then supposedly she beat him up. And I don't know how the back and forth happens, but overall, the allegations were false.
Yeah, and so that's how
they never happened.
The charges got dropped there. So
and supposedly she did some house damage as well.
Oof.
So.
She didn't burn the house down like Left Eye, though, did Andre Rison, right?
Andre Rison, yeah. Oh man, it's the thing that stinks about that is, great that the charges got dropped, but no one's talking about the fact that the charges got dropped, right?
Exactly.
They're all talking about another Chiefs guy, another off season,
off season Chiefs guy, a guy from Texas as well. They focus on that part. They don't focus on the part of this isn't existing.
That's always
Positivity
happens.
doesn't
like
help.
if Banji was here, whenever something like that happens, it's the headline, but the retraction's always like on, page like 5D or something like that, where you're not going to catch it, and not see it.
Yeah,
correct.
That's a great point. Judge Rick judging what we got going on. So we're going to be talking Burnerverse. We're going to be talking college baseball. Did you have an opportunity to watch Florida and FSU last night? Number 7 versus number 5.
I did not. I had some stuff going on, and I wasn't home in time, and I neither here nor there. I didn't catch the game.
Okay. So Florida, I didn't watch the game either, but just saw the score. Lots of people on Facebook were posting about it being there and whatnot. So Florida did get the better of FSU. Florida, ranked 7 in the nation. Florida State 5.
Yes.
And Florida won by 5 yesterday. So
I've been looking at them. I mean, obviously, they are a good program. They are able to retain good players, and they have good players. They're not a team to sleep on. Obviously, they made it to the semifinal last year in Omaha. So, I mean, they're definitely not a team to sleep on, but they already have another stacked program. And from what I've seen and clips I've seen and actual gameplay, they look just as good as they did last year.
And does Texas A&M look as good as what they did last year? We'll save that for 540.
We'll save that for later.
Put you on the spot with that one.
Say that one for later. I have some. Don't let me go on another 8-minute rant. We will.
Actually, didn't we have something for you to rant on this week? Do you remember what? I felt like there was something.
I feel like you told me I needed to find something to rant on.
And you.
I got
direct disobedience.
No, I
have. You just decided, I'll go do color commentary, and that'll account for it then, huh?
Make up my time anywhere. I'm anywhere. You never know where I'm going to be.
There you go. So you got, who do you have winning the SEC championship?
I like Florida, but I also like Tennessee. They like LSU. Jeff was saying they have a good program. Rick Barnes. Am I misremembering?
No, I believe Rick Barnes is still the coach over there at Tennessee.
Yes. Okay. Rick Barnes is a good coach. He has done a lot of good at Tennessee, and he has a really good relationship with his players. They retain some players. Obviously, they lost Dalton Knecht and a few others to the draft, but he's retained.
They still got, what's his name? Zakai Ziegler, I believe.
Zakai Ziegler.
Yeah.
He's adorable to me. He's like one of those guys you see and I'm just I know you're 7 foot tall and I'm probably an actual Barbie doll compared to you, but I just want to pinch your cheeks. You're so adorable.
He would just have to bend down a little bit.
Yeah, he would just have to come down to my level.
There you go. I guess that's better than Zach Edey.
Oh my God, that foul merchant. Are you kidding me? I'm so glad I don't have to willfully watch him anymore and I don't have to see them call everything in the world.
Just watch the Memphis Grizzlies if you're ever missing him.
I don't. No. No. I'm going to keep my personal thoughts to myself. No.
All right, probably not a terrible idea there. So let's say that it's Tennessee getting in, who do you think is the team that they'll be playing in the championship, which will be right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Coverage starting at 11:45 Sunday morning, and then we'll wrap up Sunday with Selection Sunday starting at 5.
Come back to me on that because I have thoughts on quite a few teams that I like. And like we said, you can never use logic, so you have to kind of pick something off the wall.
There you go. Well, we're going to go ahead and take a break. Y'all go to ESPNPC.com, click on Big Bracket Challenge so we can get you guys in there. We're sitting at 28. Let's get to 30 by the end of the show. That gives you guys 40 minutes. So tell your friends, tell your family, ESPNPC.com. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The Afternoon Underdogs.
But because he wanted all the glory, he got rid of him. He won one more with the Clown Shoes coach that came from college that basically that won the championship with Jimmy Johnson's players and his system. And then after that, what are they? If you want to watch a highlight tape of the Dallas Cowboys, you have to put a VHS tape in a VCR.
Ooh. 4 to 6 weekdays. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida with your Wednesday's weather. Tonight there will be a light breeze out of the south, partly cloudy skies and 62. Mostly clouds tomorrow morning, about the same at 68. In the afternoon and evening, a mixture of light showers and mostly clouds and a moderate breeze right around 13 miles per hour with a high of 70. About the same at 72 Friday, and we'll have some clouds. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
TK Vandy Roofing and General Contracting is a fifth-generation contracting company based right here out of Bay County. TK Vandy's expertise in commercial and residential roofing, as well as a design-build general contractor, set them aside as a versatile and fresh alternative to achieve your construction needs. Contact TK Vandy Roofing, 850-866-9908, or email support@tkvandy.com. They can't wait to help you.
We're broadcasting live from the Bendian's Best Move Studios. He's so old, he buys his clothes at the same store he buys his groceries.
Are you wearing a grocery bag?
I talk sports in my underwear. I'm going to wear nothing but a thong and a top hat.
Caveman Rick is part of the Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida.
We're back. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida, 101.9 in Port St. Joe, 104.3 in Panama City. 850-215-6290 is the number to call or text. LSU Jeff chiming in. He says the other side of the SEC bracket away from Florida is number 1 Auburn, number 4 Tennessee, and number 5 Texas A&M.
Let's keep it on that note for just a moment.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some really crazy things going on in Aggie world, and I'll make this super quick.
Take your time with it.
When we play tomorrow, there are a lot of things to be watching for if you are a fellow Aggie or if you're an enjoyer or whatever you are. Whoever you are, if you enjoy the game, if you enjoy the team, doesn't matter. This is what you should be looking for. Wade Taylor, obviously, he broke the all-time scoring record last week. He's been there since he was a freshman, and he broke the original record that was set in 1999 and 2003 era. So now, tomorrow when we play, his next point will be the 2,000th point of his career, and he would become the 28th SEC player to reach 2,000 points. Also, Henry Coleman's next assist will be number 100 for his career combined at Duke and A&M. Hayden Hefner's next three-pointer will be the 100th for his career as well. And then this for Hayden Hefner as well, it'll be the 141st game of Hefner's career overall, which is one away from matching Courtney Roberson's record of 142.
So I have to ask, when you bring up a name like Hayden Hefner.
Hayden Hefner?
Related to Hugh?
Yeah, is there any relation to Hugh?
I have no idea.
Why would he be playing in I mean, the looks are kind of there.
I have no idea. I've actually never looked that up. Let me know what you find over there.
You never even thought about that? Like the first thing you said,
it, but I don't think I want to know.
That's not a sports name. You hear a whole lot thrown around. Hefner.
I have that shirt that says "Exciting Whites" on it or whatever. I like to call Hayden Hefner our kooky Caucasian.
Kooky Caucasian. There you go.
Kooky Caucasian. I like Hefner. Sometimes he's on, sometimes he isn't. And to me, he's a hit or miss player, but when he's on, he's on. And I'm excited to see what the Ags do tomorrow. So I'm excited to know who they play as well. And looks like they're coming out right now for the Texas Vanderbilt
That
game.
would be a no. Not related to Hugh, unfortunately.
The sad realization of Hugh's children were Christy, David, Marston, and Cooper.
You would have thought he had a lot more. Maybe he's got a bunch of illegitimates out there.
I'm sure.
That's where that opinion and fact thing kind of starts blurring.
I'm sure there's some out there floating. You never know.
All right.
Never know with a name like that.
Some unborn children might have been floating in the pool.
I feel like I was gonna say, you should be able to transfer from your arch rival and be able to play like the very same, next year, which how long has Hayden Hefner been with y'all? Because he played at Texas before y'all. That's where he kind of came to prominence.
I think Hefner is a junior.
Okay.
If I'm remembering correctly. He's a junior or senior.
Yeah. Then there's Aiden Holloway, who went from Auburn to Alabama. And then there's the most famous of them all, with Coach Schloss going from Texas A&M to Texas.
I feel like if you're going to go to a rival, and this is just personal bias, if you're going to go to a rival, when you get to that rival, you better ball out. You better come back with like
I thought you were going to say get hazed.
No. You better come out with like a winningest season for the rest of your life until you graduate, go to the next level, whatever. You better have the most winningest time ever recorded. And so
that better happen with any time. Like even if in the pros, like when you see guys do that, whether it's football, baseball, or whatever, when you switch sides like that, you better come with it.
Yeah, you better bring your A
There's
game.
added motivation right there as well.
And I think you also have to factor in like what made you leave said rival. What was going on, whether it was academic wise or on the team.
You should have to give an explanation, like a press conference for why.
Yeah.
There you go.
This is why I'm not
I would
here
say
anymore.
refs getting press conferences needs to happen first. But I do like that aspect of it, even if it's not like a whole bunch of media is there, but they have to do a presser with someone where it is on Twitter or whatever.
Even if it's like
X.
a 30 for 30 and it's just one question.
That's
and
a little too much.
No, it was just like
30 for
one
30.
question and it's like, why are you here?
A 1 for 30.
NIL
one question,
money.
30-second answer. Yeah, and that's going to be the answer
NIL
every
money
single
is gonna
time.
be the easy.
I'm just here so I can afford fines if I ever do
I'm just here
get
so
a
I don't
fine.
get fined.
Yeah. My goodness. All right, so back to the SEC question for you. Well, of course, this wouldn't have the teams in it, but you would have Tennessee. You got Tennessee going, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so Tennessee. So I believe on the opposite side of that, you'll have Florida, Alabama, Missouri, Kentucky, and possibly Mississippi State, LSU, Georgia, Oklahoma. None of those teams are more than likely going to be there. Outside of maybe Mississippi State or Georgia, I could see those two teams kind of making a run. But for Tennessee, do you think it would be Florida, Alabama, Missouri, Kentucky?
If they play Florida, it would be a great matchup.
Tennessee, Florida, that would be fun.
That would be a really good matchup. Kentucky would be like probably break everyone's phones if they do end up playing Kentucky.
Yeah.
I think I would like to see that just for the rivalry aspect.
Tennessee, Kentucky would be a lot of fun. If let's say it's Texas A&M and Tennessee, obviously you're going to be rooting for Texas A&M. Do you think Texas A&M has what it takes to top Tennessee?
Depends. It's very situational. Depends what we do from the free throw line, which has not been good all year. And also, Tennessee is a very defensive team. A&M also likewise very defensive. I imagine it would be a low-scoring game. But in this scenario, when it's my favorite team playing a team that I kind of favor and or like, let's put it that way.
Oh,
if I have,
and or like, huh?
if I kind of favor in that with anything, like I have good friends who are Tennessee fans.
Gotcha.
I have good friends who are LSU fans. Are they wrong? Absolutely. But I do have a little bit of...
So you have a little compassion for the Tennessee fans, but for the LSU fans, it's like, dropped on your head maybe
like
once,
that. But
twice?
if it's a team I like kind of favor because I like certain players as an enjoyer, or just what they do with their program or things like traditions that I find cool, I root for the other team. So if A&M wins, I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, there you go.
So in this scenario, I would be rooting for Tennessee with the intention that A&M would beat them because I'm rooting for Tennessee and not A&M.
Oh, so a little reverse psychology is what you're...
I would play into that entire thing.
All right, I like it. Reverse psychology doesn't ever really work for me because then I just psych myself out. And especially when it comes to the betting world, like, oh, I keep on taking this team, so I'm going to go with this team this time, and the same result, just... losing money.
Every time.
Losing money, which I haven't been doing a whole lot of gambling, but I'm going to ramp it up a little bit here for March Madness because it's one of the fun things. And I would say basketball, for me anyways, is a whole lot harder to bet than when it comes to football. Like, I'd be smashing on football.
It is so hard to gauge a March Madness bracket. I've rolled over a couple. I'm like, I don't like any of these. I don't like any of them.
It's hard to do the conference brackets.
I know.
And like, actually, like, in the SWAC, I brought this up when we first came on today because it was just like Southern was the by far, really, I think the next closest odds was plus 350 for Jackson State. Southern was like plus 165, and they fell to Grambling State and an 8 seed. And it's just been happening. Again, I'll mention it for the 5th time today. Colorado is the 16th seed in the Big 12. They've already mowed through 2 teams that should have taken care of business against them. So love this time of the year, and it just gets you amped up for the March Madness tournament as well. And we're going to get deeper and deeper and deeper into these conference tournaments as the week goes on.
Going back to bracket picking, do you want to know how I picked my bracket last year? I know I mentioned
Absolutely not. Let's move on to Burner. Oh, no, I'm just kidding.
Just a quick comment. Last year, I picked my brackets based off of, like, in the matchup, what fan base annoyed me the less or the least. What fan base annoys me the least in whatever scenario.
So when it was, I believe when we were at the beatdown at the beach, it was Alabama and Clemson, I believe, were playing.
Right.
Which fan base?
So I was
we're going to throw a few different fan bases at you. We're going to do.
So in that one, I was rooting for Clemson because their fan base doesn't annoy me.
The Alabama fan base does.
Yeah.
Okay, what about if it was Texas A&M versus Texas A&M?
I would just have to kill myself in that scenario. I have to kill myself.
Let's go. All right, Florida, Tennessee. Which fan base annoys you more?
Florida
annoys you more.
Yeah, so I'm picking Tennessee.
Okay, all right. Well, let's go LSU. I'm stuck between Texas and Oklahoma here. LSU, Texas. That's not even close, though, right? So we can't, because Texas takes
LSU.
the cake.
I would pick LSU.
Texas takes the cake, though,
but
right?
If it was like Texas OU, I'm going to pick OU.
What about Oklahoma, LSU? Wait, you're saying Oklahoma's fan base annoys you more than Texas's does?
No.
Or
least.
Gotcha.
So which one is worse, this team or this team? Oklahoma's not near as annoying. So I pick Oklahoma.
Gotcha.
So if it's like LSU, OU, I'd pick OU.
All right. LSU, OU. So OU would be the team that you're rooting for in that sense.
Yes, and that's how I picked my bracket last year.
I like. What about for the fan bases that, like, what if neither fan base you have any idea about? Do you research the fan base at that point in time?
No.
You go check out the latest tweets
then
that
I
are
pick
tagged?
off their uniform, or I pick off their drip. Yeah, I pick off their drip.
So it's a multi-layered process. So about how long does it take you to fill out a bracket?
Maybe like 30 minutes.
30 minutes? That's not bad. Yeah. I hate to say it, like, it takes me about an hour, like right after Selection Sunday. Yep. I don't make any picks right there. I just kind of start. Actually, no, that's a lie. I make picks and then I go back and I check it every day until 11:15 when the bracket's locked, and I go check, and I'm like, how strongly do I feel about this pick still? And I will go and I will look at who they played their last 5, points for, points against, all of that good stuff. Like as LSU Jeff was mentioning, like some of the trends you need to know. Then, all right, let's say 12-5, right? There's always going to be one of those upsets, or how many upsets do they have a tournament?
And
so I didn't
and
have
in your
any.
12-5 scenario, where do you allot for this is going to be a real upset? Like this would actually break if this happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's the hardest part for me is how much investment do I put in, and this is going to be an upset.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and because the most important part, when you're getting into the bracket challenge, the most important part is it's not even about picking the champion. You can win the bracket challenge without picking the champion.
Yes.
How many teams do you have moving forward so that they can get you more points per round?
And how far do you make it into the bracket before you absolutely have no teams playing anymore?
Yeah.
That's the worst, to see like
When you get
6
down to,
lines.
like Elite Eight, and it's like I don't have anyone playing, so
I
like
don't
March
care.
Madness is dead for people at that point. I hate that because like for me, being a sports nut, it's like it doesn't matter if my brackets are dead or not.
Correct.
I'm still paying attention to it. But there's always the girls bracket, right? You know, you could always go. Do you think that the women's tournament is going to be as popular as last year when you had the possibility of Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark and
No, unless you're watching
Paige and
unless you're
Juju?
looking for Haley Van Lith or the Cavender
TCU,
sisters.
they're balling over there.
Yeah, if you're looking for like the Cavender sisters at Miami, whatever. I feel like women's sports are more popular when you have an icon to root for or against.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like that kind of helps make or break women's sports, which is kind of unfortunate, but it's also true.
It is. Do you think that it would be a good idea, or what do you think would happen to the WNBA if they don't get a agreement for their CBA, the collective bargaining agreement, and they miss half a season or the whole entire season?
I'm going to answer your question with a question.
Okay.
If you're not a sports nut, like we are, how much attention do you pay to the WNBA? There's
As
never
a sports nut, I would
when
tell
you're
you.
not. Yeah, if you're
no,
not.
I'm saying as a sports nut, I've never watched a full game.
Me neither.
I would say that I may have paid attention a little bit more last year to storylines, and it's not against them. It's just if I have other options,
I'm going to take my other option.
Right, I'm gonna watch golf. Like and that golf is a great napping sport. I didn't even really. I bought into at the end of the day, I'll say this too. It's not our job. This is probably not going to come off right. It's not our job as men to support women's sports, right? Like the people who need to be supporting it. Now, can we enjoy it? Should we support it?
Sure.
If we want to. But it's not because I like men's basketball, I should like girls basketball. I don't feel like that's a fair trend. For the most part, I don't watch the NBA near as much as what I did 5 or 6 years ago. I watch the same amount of college. I don't start watching college basketball until after college football in the NFL is completely finished. Will I watch some games along the way? Yeah, I will. But I want the WNBA to be successful. It's never going to make me watch it more until maybe they bring the goals down to 8 foot or something and everyone can dunk. That's one of the best parts of basketball, right? Is great 3-point shots. WNBA's got that,
Yes.
right? But when one of your championed leaders is well known because she can throw the ball at the backboard and it hits the rim and she can go grab her shot X amount of times, that just doesn't really get me going.
For me, like you said,
Sounding like Rick over here.
If there's something else going
Overruled.
on, I'm gonna watch it because it just kind of bores me. I'm bored. I'm just bored. I don't know, and it's not very feminism of me, but I'm just bored watching the women's sports sometimes. And softball's a little bit different.
Softball's starting to take over college baseball for me.
Softball's like completely different, but when it comes to basketball specifically, I'm so bored. If there's anything else happening, I'm not willfully watching a basketball game unless I'm looking for something crazy, like all the stats I just rattled off for maybe tomorrow. So
Right.
yeah, I'm going to watch Aggie and BB for sure. But do I willfully watch it? No, I'm watching it because I enjoy A&M. That's kind of it.
Yeah.
Just lots of fundamentals in the women's sports,
Which I do like that
It's fundamentally
aspect of it,
sound. If you want to watch like a game played like the way it's supposed to be played and maybe learn from the game, that's probably the better route to go. But if you want like the sizzle, it's usually not all there.
And again, like with college though, with the women's college basketball, it's a different animal as well because the teams are a little bit more closer to on par with each other, right? I mean, yeah, you have your juggernauts, but there's always there's still that element of it almost seems like the truest element of collegiate sports left, right? Because of the transfer portal. Does it get used? Yes, but maybe because I don't know a lot of these players and they're flip-flopping everywhere, I don't realize it as much. But there's the pageantry from the fans, which is what you see when Caitlin Clark is on the court, right? Like you see a lot of, but it's not the same as people who, they went to this university and that's why they're rooting for it. It doesn't matter if Caitlin Clark was here or if it's whoever. I'm still going to be watching these games because that's where I went to school. So
LSU Jeff, that's him right in the chat. He says, how many teams have you watched an entire world, or how many times have you watched an entire World Series, and when was the last time you did? 2021, I can guarantee you I didn't miss a pitch. I watched a large portion of last year's World Series, definitely Game 1. I think Game 4. There was one game of this last World Series where I was doing a podcast with Kyle Wright, so I didn't watch a ton of that game. But I mean, normally, if nothing else, during baseball season, which by the time the World Series comes around, that's when football is going, so I don't dedicate as much time to baseball. But baseball's always on in the background, and my phone's always, baseball is like my first true love. But I guess you're drawing the comparison of baseball being boring, and again, I was saying that's boring to me. I'm not saying that the WNBA is boring. I'm saying it's boring to me. Yes, personal.
Yeah,
it's
personally. And the biggest point that I was trying to make is you can posture, if you will. You can, say that you're not going to play, but the WNBA cannot afford, especially after just now getting their new TV rights deal, to take any time off when it comes to trying to argue. Like, no, that's y'all got to start making money first. And I'm not even talking about on your contracts. Like, the NBA is the one who's like keeping you afloat, and so that's my issue there. And people don't like baseball the same way. They would rather watch paint dry. That's fine. I'm not going to sit here and try to convince you to watch. One of the most exciting sports that there is in North America is the game of hockey. And a lot of people don't watch that. But
whoa, that's down here. Whoa.
I said one of the most...
I feel you.
Regardless, though, still, the numbers don't lie, right? Like, hockey is not watched as much as the other sports.
It gets watched a lot, man. It doesn't get the pub it gets, on networks like ESPN and stuff like it should, and that's part of the problem. They would rather, have talking heads talking about the 3 other sports instead of showing hockey games and such, and that's part of the problem. If you put it on, people will watch it, people will understand the rules a little bit more, and that's part of the reason why.
How long have they been? Go ahead.
Interjection.
Yeah.
I have to agree with Rick. I've watched a few hockey games, as very recently, and once I see that there's potential for people to start fighting, I'm never turning it off. If it got the publication that the big 3 get, then I'm pretty sure it would be more but they make it also really, really hard to watch as well.
Good point by Morgan too. Back when fighting was more prevalent, before it got the stigma that it has nowadays, there was a lot more people watching too, and because of that, I think that's also taking it away from a little bit. Same thing with NASCAR. People don't want to watch NASCAR just making left-hand turns. They want to watch the crashes, man. So the more wrecks you have on the super speedways, people tend to watch that more than the road courses that are pretty boring.
And we'd have to go back and look at the numbers for back in the day when fighting was kind of paraded more so. Obviously, it's not these days. The point is, not as many people watch it. They don't watch it as much as baseball. They don't watch it. And nowadays, hockey is a lot easier to watch than what it was when I was growing up. And I'm not even talking about camera angles or any of that.
About
I'm saying it's on ESPN. Yeah. It's on TNT.
But for a while, it wasn't on ESPN.
But now it is what I'm saying. It's been made more available.
And it's gotten bigger because of that.
Okay. And what helps it out a lot, right, was the Four Nations face-off, right? Yeah. But that, it's still people making a decision to determine, is that boring or not? That was the whole thing, is just because everyone watches it doesn't make it, that's exciting to me.
Hockey's nonstop action back to back. Sometimes you could have a game start and there not even be a stoppage for 5 minutes.
That doesn't make it, to someone who doesn't watch it.
if people would give it a chance and it was
Holy
on.
hell!
If it
Rick,
was
I'm
on
trying to say, listen to me.
I'm
okay?
listening to you.
All right. What I'm trying to say is
I heard
that
you.
it's one of the most energetic sports, one of the most exciting sports, right? And some people will still say it's boring. Correct? Like, right?
If people say that, then they don't know what they're watching.
Okay, well, it's... All right, let's take a break. You're right with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida, arguing for no damn reason sometimes.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents the most college basketball.
Three-pointer, college basketball is back.
The Panhandle's destination for live play-by-play.
The SEC, ACC, and beyond.
Oh, you saw that coming, Rampant.
The biggest games play right here.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida with your Wednesday's weather. Tonight there will be a light breeze out of the south, partly cloudy skies and 62. Mostly clouds tomorrow morning, about the same at 68. In the afternoon and evening, a mixture of light showers and mostly clouds and a moderate breeze right around 13 miles per hour with a high of 70. About the same at 72 Friday, and we'll have some clouds. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Turf Pro Lawn and Pest Control. They take pride in caring for their customers' property by providing lawn and whole house pest control. Whether you have roaches or any other unwanted bugs in your home, Turf Pro has you covered. Or if your lawn needs weed control, fertilize, insect control, Turf Pro has you covered by providing custom treatments to meet your property's needs. No property is the same, so why should it be treated that way? Turf Pro, where the blue and yellow trucks make your lawn green. Call 850-890-5820.
That boot store reminds you with the warmer weather usually means spring is just around the corner. That boot store will help you celebrate any time of the year with one of the widest selections of Western wear in the area. They can fit the smallest to the largest, so bring the family and dress up Western style at an affordable price. Carhartt work clothes are available too. Open Tuesday through Thursday, 9 till 5, Friday and Saturday, 9 till 5:30. Next to Bill Burke at 15th Street, that boot store where God is good all the time.
We're broadcasting live from the Bendian's Best Move Studios. The next evolution in sports talk radio. It's the Afternoon Underdogs.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Weekdays from 4 till 6. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
It is our final segment of the afternoon. Caveman Rick, David Hayes, and Morgan Hilliard here with the Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida. Go to ESPNPC.com. Click on the Big Bracket Challenge brought to you by Panama City Toyota, PCB Hobby, and Buffalo Rock Pepsi. All right, Morgan, the show is yours.
Beautiful. No notes. Barbie time. Let's ride. You're riding with Barbie now. Guess I'm going to start with, I do have a shout out.
Yep.
Shout out to Miss Connie. I know she's over there watching in Corpus Christi, and I wanted her to know I appreciate her for tuning in. Also, I just saw my mom popped in. Hi, Mom. Let's talk Aggie. So we played New Mexico Aggies over the weekend, and in turn, all the Aggies ended up winning, if you want to put it that way.
Oh, y'all had a good weekend then.
So, well, we're the Aggies, they're the Aggies. That's the joke here. We're the Aggies, they're the Aggies. That's the joke here. Friday win, Saturday win, Sunday loss, and then we beat a system school last night, which we should have, and we definitely run-rolled. But the most important note about this is that my beloved Pookie, Mr. Prager, joined the 200K club Friday night. So, shout out
Way
to
to go, Pookie.
Shout out to Ryan Prager. He's the best. Love you, 18. If he has 1 million fans, I'm definitely one of them. If he has one fan, it's for show me. And if he has no fans, I am dead. Check on me.
We'll make sure to ask Ryan, do you have any fans? If he says no, then we'll bust your door down.
Make sure, because I'm definitely dead. Other good stuff in college baseball. There's a lot of good games over the weekend. I caught quite a few. It was rainy, so it was perfect weather to just lay at the house and watch baseball all weekend, literally. That's all I'm going to do this weekend probably because we're supposed to get really bad weather once again. So can't wait for it. Did you know that we're taking on Alabama in the first SEC series for the season? That's how we're opening this weekend. And I am so nervous. I'm so nervous.
Bama's playing pretty good in the top 25.
Yeah. I don't know what number you're ranked off the top of my
23.
head. We are 14 still, somehow, some way.
I guess that depends on what poll you're.
Yeah, it depends what poll you're looking at. But we're ranked 14 according to AP and D1 baseball. So we'll see if we stay there and or go up. But I am really nervous to open up with Alabama. I'm nervous for all SEC play, but I'm really hoping that the Aggies pull it together and they pull out the sweep. Sorry, care about you.
Yeah, no.
But when it comes to sports, A&M, everything else.
So they got Alabama at 17, A&M at 19. If this is through games of March 9th, so of the weekend.
Okay, so that's more updated than the one I looked at today because I looked at D1 baseball from Kendall Rogers earlier.
9-6. What's been going on? I mean, I know Prager got his 200 strikeout.
It's just defensive play, like where we have guys, after losing Grahovic, and we don't have Caden Sorrell right now. We lost Ted Burton because he went on to do his own, he graduated up and out. Lost Ted Burton. I don't think Jacob Galloway is a bad catcher, but it's the defensive side of things right now. It's taking us a lot of time to get our bats going, but that's every game. That's no matter when you tune in. But we were making errors. Our Classic in Houston didn't really go that well. We only won one game out of that entire series. There's a lot of stuff like just misplays, not being in the right position, not gloves on the and as well, which is really hurting us. But I obviously noted they are moving players around to see who is where, to see who fits best where. And I just want to say Gavin Cash was always meant to be the first baseman. Keep Cash at first. Cash money all day, every day, please. He's really, really effective there. Wyatt Hensler's settling in at third base, and they're still kind of tinkering with our outfield. Obviously, you have effortless Jason center, but he can be moved around as well. They're playing with the right and left fielders, which kind of keep an eye on. But TK3, when Caden Sorrell is healthy again, I've seen a lot of debate of what do you do with TK? He's a great hitter. He's really great on the field as well whenever he's just playing regular routine play and situational play. He made a great diving catch. How do you keep him in the lineup? And I think the question or the answer to that question is a battle. Battle it out. You have to.
Yeah, no doubt. And this is the time of the year when you can get away with that a lot more easily.
You can get away with that battle, but I don't even know when Sorrell comes back. There's not really any update on when he's set to return and when he'll be healthy again. So things I'm kind of watching for, things to keep an eye on and stuff like that. And that's where my head is.
Oh, there you go. So no more games for the rest of the week, right? Or do you guys have another midweek game?
No more games for the rest of the week.
So the next is a weekend sweep there at the hands of Alabama. And now, with that being said, reverse psychology, Texas A&M will more than likely sweep the Alabama Crimson Tide, which Alabama really wasn't. They didn't have a lot of high expectations coming into the season this year, so it is kind of surprising to see them off to such a hot start at 16-1.
I feel like last year Alabama had a hot start and then kind of started to just slope off whenever they got more in depth into SEC play.
Yeah.
And that SEC play is always make
another
or break.
gauntlet. Yeah,
another one. That SEC play is critical because that plays so much into the end standings and who's going to play where in your regionals and your super regionals. But neither here nor there right now. I just want to see A&M do the things that make A&M win. Just win. That's all I want to do.
Just win, baby,
yes.
win. What else do you have from college baseball or the Burner-verse?
FIU released a pink jersey to match the football uniforms that they came out with this past season.
They had pink football uniforms?
They're like pink with powder blue, and they look just like my Barbie jersey. And I'm going to need to cop one of those.
So these are for football jerseys. Was that right?
They're copying the Heat. Like the cotton candy color.
It is. They're actually really good.
They're really good
jerseys.
looking.
I don't think that have you ever seen pink and blue on a uniform combination?
Like Miami Heat.
No. I'm saying for football.
Oh no.
Yeah, they dropped those this past football season.
They've got like a home and away version of them.
Yes, and they're so good.
305 on the helmet.
So Pitbull bought the rights to their stadium for like the next 4 to 5 years earlier this season, and they renamed it Pitbull Stadium or whatever, and they have 305 on the scoreboards and stuff as well, because I obviously made a huge contribution to their program so they can continue to recruit and whatnot. And I think things like that are cool. Mr. Miami, supporting Miami. Yeah. Also, I go to FIU, that's where I'm doing all my school stuff.
Oh, really? You're doing it through FIU?
Yeah, that's where I'm doing all my school stuff, for everything I have going on in my actual job. And I saw those baseball jerseys and I was like, immediate cop. Have to have that.
I'm looking at the football jerseys.
Okay, so they released the baseball jersey that's like a replica of that jersey for the football team.
Okay, I like the football jerseys a little bit better, but obviously the hat is it's awesome. It's a pink logo across the chest, blue sleeves, blue belt. It's a good looking uniform. It's not something that you see every day in baseball either, with that cotton candy look.
Love another good one to be looking for is UCF. They have the Space U game. That's kind of part of their tradition that they have going on for their space contributions. And they did a Space U jersey to play into their football bit. Mm-hmm. And they're really clean as well. I don't want to say they're
like a baby blue.
They're like a periwinkle or something.
Okay, I don't know what that is.
Periwinkle blue. Like off of Snatch. Brad Pitt.
Okay, I've seen that movie.
They look good. They look good. So
yeah, those are. I actually kind of like those a little bit better because they kind of traditional baseball uniform. But
the significant part about these uniforms is the uniform tells a story about what UCF is contributing to the program in a set year. So like 24, 25, what their space program is contributing to overall research. The uniform tells a story about that concept, and I think that's really, really cool to tie in.
Yeah, man, they are good looking uniforms, and the hat is pretty sick too. I don't know, what is that supposed to be, like a 1939 astronaut helmet or something? I'm not entirely.
I think it's cool. I'm not really.
Kind of looks like the moon with a hat on, like one of those.
The moon.
Like what's the daggum Christmas Vacation? Uncle Eddie.
Oh, Cousin Eddie?
Cousin Eddie, yeah, Cousin Eddie. It looks kind of like that type of a hat on the moon.
Or like the hat on Kyle Brozlowski from South Park.
Yes.
Got the flats on the side.
Yeah, but it's the main thing that's making it stand out to me is like the thing on top of the head. Anything else? We've got less than 50 seconds left to go.
I don't have anything. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Enjoy the rest of your week. I hope all of your teams win. But if they're playing A&M, I hope you lose. Have a great time. This is Barbie. It's been fun. It's been real. See you Friday.
All right. So basically what she just said, to wrap that up, roll tide. You guys have a great evening out there. Don't forget to get over there to ESPNPC.com and click on the Big Bracket Challenge. It's free to join, and cash and prizes on the line for the top 3 teams. Enjoy the rest of the basketball this evening. Coach James Hale Show will be live at 7 in the morning. The Inside Drive at 11 in the morning. And we'll be back here tomorrow afternoon at 4. Y'all enjoy the evening. Be safe. Buckle up. Just remember, Jesus loves you. So do I.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The magic plays here.
This